I need somebody to respond to this and tell me what I need to do, because your girl needs help.
What's up, y'all? So earlier today, I was sent this video by my brother Bobby. It's entitled Dating in Your 40s by Crystal Renee Hayslett. I hope I'm not butchering your name, but I watched a little bit of it and I had thoughts. So I wanted to revise it in a similar way that I revised the Meet the Perrys video. It's an interesting conversation that she brings up, but I also would like to add additional male context to some of the things that she said. So if you're a young woman watching this, if you're a seasoned woman watching this, if you're a young man watching this, hopefully I can add some color to this conversation. So I'm going to stop it periodically and give my thoughts.
Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Keep It Positive, Sweetie. I'm Crystal Renee, and today we are talking about dating in your 40s. And when I think about dating in your 40s, the first song that came to mind was Destiny's Child, Independent Women. All my women independent, throw your hands up at me. And when I think of that, it's because I feel like once women get to their 40s, and they're still dating, they're definitely independent. I know for me, I just turned 40 in October, and it was something that clicked. It's like, literally the day I woke up after my party, I was like, whoa. I had so much clarity on things, and I was very sure about what I wanted to do, how I wanted it, and all those things. But leading up to that, I work in a very vain industry, in an industry that's always looking for the youngest and the hottest and the next. And I was worried, like, Lord, am I getting older? And we also live in an industry where we don't tell people our age. So like, even on my invitation, I was very strategic about not putting that I was turning 40, because I just didn't want to put that out there. But everybody found out anyway, so now everybody knows. But when you're dating in your 40s, there's so many factors that come into place. Your biological clock is ticking. Society has put so much stress on, you need to get married by this age, you need to start having children by this age. And
there's been a lot of conversation about women who are a bit seasoned, women over the hill or who've hit the wall, as it were. And, some people believe that there must be something wrong with them. Other people believe that they are in their prime. And I think it really just speaks to the shifting societal landscape generally, right? Back in the day, it was customary to get married, start a family in your 20s. But you were also pretty much guaranteed a job. Real estate was a bit more affordable. You could look forward to a pension. The world, as wide as it is, wasn't necessarily as accessible. So you were content in your city and your town. However, as we're moving into the 22nd century, that's no longer the case, right? People are prioritizing education, men and women. People are prioritizing status, wealth, accumulating material possessions. And when your priorities are those things, it's very easy to put off those traditional milestones, right? Like, it's very easy to look up and now you're 40 or 30 something or even 50, and those traditional things are not there. And unfortunately, because we have so many options, because we have so much access, it's actually made things more difficult when it comes to finding partners or even finding friends. It's hard as hell as an adult to make friends. So I guess I would say to women dating in their 40s, it is kind of fair for men to be concerned about why you are still available in your 40s. It's not to say that there is absolutely something wrong with you, but it is to say that from a male point of view, it's a fair assumption. And this dismissiveness that we often kind of meet that with, I think is really counterproductive, because the reality is, as great and fantastic as you might think you are, if your son, your 20-something-year-old handsome, successful son came to you And he, instead of introducing to you a young, supple young lady who's intelligent and all those good things that he could potentially have children with, he introduced to you a woman that was your age or a woman that was significantly older than you. You would have an issue with it if you were being completely honest.
Sorry, Papa, I forgot to tell you. This is about my wife to be. Huh? Zobako. My father.
Nice to meet you, sir. Your father is such a nice
Exactly.
man.
No, like I told you. My father is a man. He's a nigga. He's going inside to clean the house for us.
I love you.
Thank you very much, baby. He's going to...
So when you think about it from that vantage point, it's a bit easier to empathize with why men are a bit apprehensive. And obviously, you know, there is a conversation about the biological clock. A man who wants to have kids, knowing that you can't give that to him, it kind of eliminates you from the running. But the other thing too, even for men who might not be interested in children, is the baggage, right? Like, reasonable men understand that all people come with baggage, all women come with baggage. However, we also understandably realize that it's different coming with 5 years of baggage versus 10 years of baggage versus 20 years of baggage. And if you are a woman in your 40s, you have seen, a single woman in your 40s, you have seen a significant bit of life, a significant bit of experience. And that is now life and experience that your male partner now has to navigate. You know, your triggers, you know, your sensitivities, maybe even, you know, an ex-lover that you had that was the best thing since sliced bread. But in 20 years, you might have been able to accumulate more than one of those guys. And now he has to measure up and constantly compete with that.
Son. Speaking of which, where's the baby daddy?
Ooh, good question, Z.
Thank you.
Could be a psycho. Just got parole for killing her last boyfriend.
Or he could be one of those guys that like to hide in the bush, wait for a strange guy to come to his baby mom's house. And when he gets there, he pops out the bushes, hits this guy in the back of the head with a brick, without even realizing that this guy's relationship with his baby mom was platonic.
They ever catch that guy?
No, it's a cold case. The cops won't even revisit the case. They said they couldn't find a brick.
It's fair for men to kind of be apprehensive and not necessarily be so gung-ho about a seasoned woman. And this, you know, assumption that it's because we're intimidated, I think it's a trivialization. I think it really cheapens this conversation. Men aren't intimidated. We're just, we're a bit more reasonable than we give ourselves credit for being.
I found myself attracting like 20-year-olds. And I was like, what is this? 'Cause I know I don't look 40. That was the first thing. I don't look like how old I am, but I was attracting young people. And with that, it became a stress because I knew they wanted children. I'm like, okay, these are conversations we have to have. And I always wanted to date somebody that's either my age or a little older. And honestly, they'd already had children because I didn't want that pressure. I don't want the pressure of, okay, if he wants children, I can't give him that. Like, what if I passed that stage in my life? And another thing that's really hard about dating in your 40s is, for me, is finding a man that's not intimidated. I've dated, and then men see how I'm living, and it's like, oh, I can't keep up with that. And I'm like, I don't need you to keep up. The things I need from you, of course, I want someone who has something going on for themselves. Of course, I want somebody who can do the things for me that I can do for them. But it doesn't have to always be on the level that I do it, because that's not what I need you for. I need love. I need affection. I need the love languages. And there's 5, and I need all of them. I need someone that is emotionally supportive to me, someone that supports my career. And I've found that a lot of men are not in a space of maturity or even have the bandwidth to give me that. They're so used to just buying women and, oh, I'll go do this, I'll pay for this, and everything's gonna be okay. No, like I need you to be my homie, my lover, and my friend.
What's difficult sometimes about these conversations is, you know, when you sit and listen to certain women describe their ideal guy, a lot of times they're describing a girlfriend, not a man, right? They're describing traits that would traditionally be found in women. right? And they revert back to this whole, I'm coming across men who are intimidated by me. But then it begs the question that why aren't you able to attract the men who wouldn't be, right? And I've talked about how some women are actually more secure and comfortable in relationships where the power dynamic is more in their favor. And they might not actually admit it, but some women actually find themselves more comfortable around men who make less, men who are less intelligent, men who are less accomplished, because he's easier to control, right? He's easier to manipulate. He needs you, you don't need him. And I think that's actually worth a conversation as opposed to this blanket, men are intimidated by me. And then the other thing is she looks good for her age. She looks really good for her age. However, the reality of men of a certain caliber, men of a certain status, as she put it, men who wouldn't be intimidated by her, their priorities are different, right? To men of that caliber, a beautiful woman is a dime a dozen. A successful woman is a dime a dozen. Their priority list would include a woman who can provide them with legacy, right? A woman who's good at all the things that he's not. And, I use the sports analogy all the time. If you're a quarterback, you wouldn't be into valuing them the traits that we have. And I think they miss a lot of times that we're looking for a woman with the traits that we don't have, right? In a company, the relationship between the founder and the co-founder might be stale, but I guarantee you the relationship between the CEO and his executive secretary might last a lifetime. Because again, this myth of the boss couple, the power couple, it's not sustainable, right? We need somebody who's a complement, not a reflection.
My career. And I've found that a lot of men are not in a space of maturity or even have the bandwidth to give me that. They're so used to just buying women and, I'll go do this, I'll pay for this, and everything's going to be okay. No, I need you to be my homie, my lover, and my friend. And that's where I feel like even dating, I just haven't found all three of those things in a man.
I think it's also worth mentioning, for instance, we're watching a video about a guy complaining about his horrible experience in corporate America, right? Every job that he's had, his boss didn't like him. His coworkers were shisty. Customers were against him. I think we would safely assume that maybe you're the problem, right? Why are you the common denominator of all this dysfunction? Why is your operating premise that companies are run poorly? Maybe if your resume was better, you would be able to be recruited by, land a job at a better company. Or maybe, again, you're the problem. Maybe the company culture was fine, but you poisoned it. Maybe your lack of self-awareness is the reason why you continue to replicate dysfunction everywhere you go. So similarly, when I hear certain women complain about how quote unquote men are intimidated, men aren't this, men aren't that, it begs the question, why are you incapable of finding men who do not fit those assumptions? Is it because, again, you can't attract or retain that caliber of men? Or is it because you're more attracted to some of the more entertaining aspects of toxic men than you are put off by the bad parts of those men, right? So, I like the fact that this drug dealer, he spends money fast, he's entertaining, but he's also inconsiderate, he's also unreliable. But I like the entertainment so much, I'm willing to put up with the unreliable. And then when I go and talk about men, I say that men are unreliable and men are inconsistent. And I further muddy the waters and tarnish the brand of Black men. And similarly, men do this as well. I've seen brothers who every girl that they've come across cheats, or every girl they've come across is a hoe. And it's like, brother, if you were a better dude, you'd be around better people, point blank. And it's time we start taking ownership of the role that we play in the people that we keep ourselves around and the people that we enjoy being around as well. Hey, if you've made it all the way to the end, please click that like and subscribe button. Also, share this with somebody that you think would gain value from it. Also, shout out to our Patreon executive producers and VIP members. Make sure you head over to Patreon and check out some exclusive content. A lot more happens on Patreon that can't happen on YouTube, so please consider becoming a member there. Click the thumbnail at the top if you want the full video. Click the thumbnail at the bottom if you want a video that's closely related to this. Again, like, share, subscribe. Appreciate you guys for watching. Check out some more of our content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.